is being a woman in business still a liability?
You're a young woman with no experience.
A woman, that's a minus.
Well, of course it's a fucking minus. I didn't make the world.
As Succession's Logan Roy decides which of his 4 offspring might inherit his media empire throne, on paper, his smart and hardworking daughter Shiv seems like the most capable contender. But Shiv feels she's been treated differently for being a woman, and she's right.
I've always thought you were the smartest.
Oh, so that's why you tried Kendall and Roman first.
The people in her world are open about just how much her gender is seen as a downside. She's trotted out when having a female executive is useful for a crisis or a deal, and then, once that passes, again, sidelined, overlooked, mocked, or held to a higher standard than her brothers.
Corporate daycare.
What's up with dip here?
That's not a good retort. Don't laugh at that.
Yeah,
In case you want it in writing.
But Succession does a great job of dealing with not just how the woman dynamics realistically play out around Shiv, but also how they've shaped her psychologically. Due to the biases around her, Shiv gets less training from a young age, so at first, she isn't as ready to manage as her brothers.
You can't blame her for her lack of
Well,
experience.
sure you can. Just watch. You'll get the hang of it soon enough.
There's a vicious cycle at play, where she overreacts and overcompensates, copying the toxic behavior her dad's modeled for the company. As a result, Shiv has been molded into an arrogant yet insecure girl boss who not only doesn't help other women, but often weaponizes feminism in service of her family. Here's our take on how Succession uses Shiv to accurately illustrate how being marginalized as a woman or member of another outsider group can work against you, wear you down, and very much mess you up. Shiv Roy shows how, contrary to how much of today's rhetoric, being a woman near the top of many work cultures is still an obstacle, but there are a lot of complicated reasons why. Don't get us wrong, as an individual, Shiv has plenty of flaws and isn't that likable. Rhea is right when she says,
Shiv thinks she's smarter than she is.
having grown up rich with everything handed to her but noticed she's at least smarter than her brothers, Shiv has developed an epic level of arrogance. She's impatient for rewards without working for them, thinks she knows things before developing expertise, and displays a dangerous combination of entitlement and inexperience. Yet a lot of the problem is also Shiv's reacting to and compounding her disadvantage. One lesson Shiv internalizes is that her achievements don't count. In Season 3, we see her pull off a huge win that saves the family from losing the company, but her dad again denies her the credit. Then, when Roman brings in the fascist presidential candidate Jared Mencken, Logan lavishes praise on his son.
You did good this weekend, son.
And there's a vicious cycle at play for Shiv. The more she feels she has to prove herself and doesn't get validation, the more she feels defensive, desperate to get recognition rather than open to receiving the training and experience she actually needs.
Roman COO, you have a toddler with a hard-on for Chief Operating Officer, and I'm going through a management training program?
Shiv then gets in her way in numerous work interactions by overcompensating. Like many ambitious female precursors, going back to Lady Macbeth's doomed quest to unsex herself, she feels she has to act more like a tough guy with big energy than even the boys do. But this act doesn't get her respect from the men around her, who generally don't like the level of brash assertiveness from a female executive that they tolerate in a male one.
Carl's not happy with your level of input.
Oh, okay. Well, him, right?
I don't need another toothache.
Logan tends to keep Shiv more behind the scenes than her brothers, and then, even when her father does put her in formal positions of power, like when he privately chooses her as his heir or installs her as president, it's not long before he undermines that by freezing her out, having secret interactions with her brothers about major business, not backing her up, or letting her know she's on thin ice if she ever makes an error.
Well, you okayed me to go in there and kick some ass, and I barely...
I gave you a destination. I can't walk you there, okay?
This situation, repeated over and over, has made Shiv both resentful and deeply insecure. Initially, even Shiv herself doesn't really think becoming the CEO is a possibility, so she looks to her husband, Tom, to rise in the company. Like her siblings, she's been falsely empowered by her wealth to view herself baselessly as above others, but because of her gender, she's been shamed by her father into a state where she views herself as below. As therapist Tammy Nelson told The Cut, Shiv's performance of confidence is, quote, based on sort of the internal hill of sand because she's not confident about herself as a woman and as a worker. She looks to her father to feel confident, and when she does get moments to lead, she sometimes chokes, loses control, and makes a big gaffe.
Sometimes I think you just need a good old-fashioned dinosaur call.
And who's the big T-Rex in your sights?
Oh, no,
Or fails to summon the confidence to meet challenges decisively.
It's the sort of tough choice people need to be able to make. People who would be very senior people.
I can't choose, Dad.
So if we look deeper, we can see how much Shiv and her flaws have been shaped and exacerbated by her culture's hostility toward her being a woman. In a work context, she's expected at various points to compensate for being a woman, act like she's not, use it, and sell her gender out in order to get ahead in this world. She's put at the forefront whenever there's a sensitive crisis involving women or progressive issues, culminating in her talking a sexual abuse victim out of testifying against her family. And of course, those favors where she has to disown her womanness aren't even remembered. So in order to prove to her family that her being a woman isn't an issue, she's not even allowed to truly be one. From childhood, Shiv felt the main female model in her family, her cruel mother, was grotesque.
You were my onion. You are my onion.
When her mother isn't physically absent, she's emotionally violent to Shiv.
Truth is, I probably should never have had children.
Shiv has inherited some of this, even while trying to reject her mother and more consciously modeling herself on her narcissistic, bullying father.
Yeah, we get it already. Stop moaning about the rapes.
The toxic male behavior she's learned to ape from her dad and the company is taken to an extreme in her most intimate personal relationship. She becomes a bully in her relationship with her husband Tom, making him into her punching bag, just as everyone in the Roy media empire falls somewhere on the abusive hierarchy, receiving pain from the higher-ups and passing it down.
You're not good enough for me. No, I'm
Yeah.
way out of your f***ing league.
And because of the way Shiv has mistreated Tom and based their relationship on inequality,
That's why
Maybe.
you love me, even though I don't love you.
he eventually feels justified betraying her to seize his own power. So overall, Shiv's toxicity is a realistic portrayal of the fact that when people are excluded due to gender, race, or other factors, this doesn't necessarily prove the adage that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Instead, adversity can provoke unhealthy coping habits that aren't beneficial in the long run. Shiv is an extreme version of the self-serving girl boss type who trades on her gender when it helps her, but happily screws over other women for personal profit. But a trademark of the girl boss is secret hypocrisy, and Shiv is pretty open about her cynical self-centeredness.
Deep down, she's status and money obsessed, like you.
One of the conflicts in Shiv's life is trying to decide whether to not be a terrible person or just double down and embrace it. When the series begins, she's working for progressive Bernie Sanders-esque presidential candidate Gil Evis, and she talks like she maybe wants to do something good for the world as long as there's enough in it for her. Yet her pretenses of having morals falls away when she gets a shot at running her father's company. Shiv's conflict between her two sides plays out in the first season through her affair with Nate, who describes himself as an exciting bastard in comparison to her nice fiancé Tom.
Yeah, Tom is a great guy.
Sure. Great guy with the square head. Should be with an exciting bastard like me.
These two men represent the two disjointed sides of Shiv. On one hand is her arrogance. She views herself as the exciting bastard, someone who's mean yet better than everyone else. But on the other hand is her insecurity. She likes that Tom feels like a safe partner who will worship and never leave her because she has a buried sense of inferiority. Shiv flip-flops between these selves. She frequently laments that she's not a nice or good person.
You should be good people.
I know.
Wouldn't it be nice to just wake up in the morning and not feel like a f***ing piece of shit?
But mostly comforts herself, she's at least marginally more ethical than the rest of her family, while not really behaving differently from them.
You tell yourself you're a good person, but you're not a good person.
In the end, neither of Shiv's opposing self-images is really true. Her affair with Nate doesn't end up being that exciting, and in the end, her nice husband Tom turns out to be not as nice or safe as she thought after he sells her out in season 3. Her conception of herself as an ultra-talented bastard is likewise proven false. She makes a fair number of mistakes when actually given a shot in the business, and interestingly, in season 3, she surprises herself when she draws a line at helping a fascist presidential candidate. So it turns out she kind of does have a few principles after all.
Mencken is an integralist, nativist head. He's toxic.
More centrally, in her reconciliation with her brothers in the season 3 finale, we also see the beginnings of a desire to openly communicate emotions in a positive sense. This is something Shiv is historically terrible at. Her wedding speech is a cringy showcase of how hard it is for her to actually show emotion, and she chooses her wedding night to tell her husband she wants an open relationship.
We have a plan, but in terms of the relationship, I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity for something different from the whole box set death march.
When she discusses having children with him, she's not only terribly unromantic about it,
Did you mean it about the baby?
Yeah, we should freeze at least.
but also oddly jumps to discussing divorce and comas.
It's different if one of us dies or is in a long-term coma. I don't just automatically get them if we divorce or something like that, if that's the thing that concerns you.
And she repeatedly tells Tom she doesn't love him, but in ways that makes us wonder if she almost does, or would if she could love anyone that way.
Tom, I do. I may not love you, but I do love you.
So it's a big step in the season finale when she awkwardly tries to participate in unsarcastically being there for a suffering Kendall.
Hey, buddy. Hey, you okay?
Well, it's okay.
And an even bigger one when she suggests the siblings start saying the tough things out loud to each other.
Dad is never gonna choose you because he thinks there's something wrong with you. And I'm sorry, but maybe it's time that we said these things to each other.
As the siblings try for the first time to truly band together into season 4, not creating a binary between niceness and ambition could be Shiv's only chance to transcend her self-destructive pattern of being both hyper-arrogant and hyper-insecure. Her road to becoming a more mature and actually more successful adult may be tapping into that nice side of her, but not as a compromise or a settling the way she's always seen it. She just needs to have some equal human relationships, which can be both loving and honest. Shiv has to learn not to base her self-esteem on the approval of her father, the ultimate patriarchal figure who will never be able to see her separate from the minus of her being a woman. She can't help how her world sees her gender, but she can potentially learn to stop making the woman thing become an extra problem to herself. Roman Roy is an exhibitionist, and not just when he's giving New York City a view from his office. He's an emotional exhibitionist, wanting people to see and acknowledge how screwed up he and his family are.
Your family.
He used to lock me in a cage.
What the f?
No, that's a true story.
It's this predilection that leads to the Succession fan favorite game in which Gerri tells Roman how sick he is, and Roman listens attentively.
You are a revolting little worm, aren't you?
But Roman's kinkiness doesn't just make him a memorable treat of a character. His particular perversities outline the Roy family's psychological pitfalls. His absent mother, Caroline, shaped his masochistic personality.
Cold and inhospitable. Seems to check out.
His father, Logan's abusive parenting resulted in Roman's arrested development, stuck in his childhood trauma and never maturing.
You stole my idea.
You stole my idea. What are you, 6?
And more broadly for the Roys, sex revolves around power plays.
Go on. Mistress.
Business power plays use the language of sex, and love is associated with humiliation and pain. Initially written as a bratty, congenitally sadistic King Joffrey type,
Can you hit a ball?
Yeah.
Great, because I will give you $1 million if you hit a home run.
over Succession's first season, Roman's character unfolds into the filthy-minded, sad clown of corporate America we love today. A court jester-type character, he's more aware of how the family looks to outsiders than the rest, becoming a running commentary on Roy family pathology.
You know, Waystar Royco? We do hate speech and roller coasters.
We don't usually get insight into the jester character's feelings, but with Roman, we see where his pain comes from, what makes him compulsively crack jokes. And the season 3 finale gives us hope that he just might be able to escape his father's influence and find a way to become a separate, more whole human being. Here's our take on Roman Roy and how the way out of his trauma is going through it again and again and again.
You need an intervention.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's safe to say there's something wrong with Roman, although no one is sure what exactly.
The f*** is wrong with you?
I don't know.
To be fair, there's something wrong with all the Roys. They're a family of pathologically narcissistic and deeply damaged individuals with personalities warped by cruelty and obscene wealth. But the surface-level explanation for Roman's particular weirdness are his mommy issues.
Poor Roman. His dreams of porking mom slipping through his little lubed-up fingers.
Mommy issues can be defined as an umbrella colloquialism for a number of ways an unhealthy relationship between mother and child can affect the child's personality and attachment style. In the case of Roman and his mother Caroline Collingwood, she was a cold and absent mom.
You were just an absence.
Caroline is a textbook narcissist, turning any criticism her kids have back on them and making herself the victim.
I was 10, Mom. I was a f***ing kid.
You were 13. And you knew how to twist the knife.
Since the mother is usually the initial caregiver, this relationship lays the foundation for a child's ability to trust and bond with others, including later sexual partners. When a mother's unloving, withholding, or even derisive like Caroline,
I should have had dogs.
Children may believe the problem isn't with their mother, but them, that the reason the mother rejects them is that they are fundamentally unlovable, disgusting even. Roman, as the youngest boy in the family and recipient of emotional abuse from both his parents and his elder siblings, has grown up feeling love and mistreatment to be inseparable.
Don't threaten me, Gerri. I don't have time to f*** off.
Adult Roman has grown into a classic exhibitionist.
Can I suggest we all take our shirts off?
Someone who wants people to pay attention to him and to be disgusted when they do, because he sees himself as repulsive and because that's what connection felt like in his childhood.
Ken, make him put his shirt on.
Roman constantly makes perverted jokes.
We need to control the narrative.
Control the narrative. You probably yell that when you... Oh, control the narrative. Oh, control it. Control the narrative. Oh.
Meanwhile, there's a disconnect between Roman's sex talk and his ability to connect with romantic partners. We learn early on that Roman doesn't have much sex.
You love showing your pee-pee to everyone, but someday you know you're actually gonna have to f*** something.
When Roman tries to sleep with his girlfriend Tabitha, he suggests she play dead because he needs the sex to be taboo or wrong in some way.
Do you think there's a way that we can, like, make it kind of, like, wrong?
And while Tabitha is uncomfortable with Roman's desires, he eventually finds acceptance of his attachment style in Waystar Royco's legal counsel/fixer, Gerri. Succession is full of Oedipal references, and a lot of the jokes are about Roman wanting to sleep with his mom.
How romantic would it be? Imagine that, if you could marry Mommy on her wedding day.
The show links this to Roman's attraction to older women, like his father's wife, Marcia.
Did I say that I was going to f*** Marcia? No. Although I definitely would. Because she's hot.
And especially to Gerri, who feels like the closest thing the Roys have to a semi-maternal figure. Gerri's and Roman's building attraction culminates in special conference call scenes where Roman enjoys being humiliated by Gerri.
You have a problem, Roman. A revolting problem in your head. This is why you'll never be anything but a disgrace.
So what exactly makes this union sort of work? Fans and critics agree the Gerri-Roman liaison is genuinely hot. So apart from the glaring dearth of older woman-younger man pairings on TV, what makes Gerri and Roman so compelling? The first factor is the natural chemistry between the actors playing the duo, Kieran Culkin and J. Smith-Cameron.
And look at this behind me. Look at it. I can smell you. You think you could sneak up on me with that perfume?
The Gerri-Roman flirtation originated from the two actors goofing off on set. Kieran Culkin explained how their chemistry ended up written into the script.
I said something really, like, gross sexual to Gerri, and she, like, rolled her eyes. He saw that in the end, and he was like, oh, these guys, okay, there's a thing here.
The second factor that makes their relationship interesting is the age gap. The older woman-younger man relationship is a rarity on screen and in life, while the reverse is omnipresent. Logan, Roman's father, is so disgusted by Roman's sexual attraction to Gerri that when he discovers it, this is the moment that essentially changes his mind about his plan to anoint Roman as his heir.
She's 1,000,000 years old. It's f***ing disgusting.
Of course, Logan himself is engaged in an affair with a far larger age gap.
Clearly
Dad and Gerri, please.
showing memes to a young menial, tale as old as time.
But to Logan, dating a younger woman reinforces the status and power of dominant man, while dating a woman much older indicates the opposite, a desire to be dominated and a weakness or perversity.
So what is it, son? Are you scared of
Logan's views aren't that far off from our general culture's attitudes. When we do see older woman-younger man couplings on screen, they tend to follow the cougar trope.
So where's your little date tonight?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
and the hypersexual cougar is treated as a one-dimensional fantasy or a punchline. Roman and Gerri's dalliance is humorous, but not at the expense of her age or his desperation. The key to the attraction for Roman is Gerri's personal qualities that are partly acquired through years of experience.
I've always thought of you, and I mean this in the best possible way, as a stone-cold killer bitch.
Who says you don't know how to flirt?
Gerri has the assertiveness and the motherliness Roman yearns for. Plus, she understands and knows how to satisfy Roman's needs. The Gerri-Roman relationship is satisfying to watch because it becomes therapeutic. Having his taboo desires met in a safe space seems to make Roman more confident and more ready to take on responsibility maturely at work, too. Finally, factor 3 in their relationship, the power dynamic.
You're acting like an overexcited little boy.
You know, technically, I'm your f***ing boss.
It's rare to see convincing, nuanced sexual power exchanges on screen, and Succession dramatizes just how messy this one is. Roman is aggressively pursuing a woman whose career depends on his family's employment, and in the process, he's crossing all kinds of boundaries, like trying to send her dick pics during a meeting. On the other hand, Gerri is confident and experienced. She knows how to keep him in line.
The thing is, I am dating, and that needs to be understood.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
And also, he wants her to humiliate him. So as inappropriate as it all gets, and what doesn't on Succession, there is a general feeling of equality in their relationship. But lest any of us started to get too warm and fuzzy about this romance, the season 3 finale destroys all the personal growth we've been seeing happen via their dynamic. In the moment of Roman's greatest need, in the same scene where he's just been screwed over by his father and his biological mother, he turns to his other maternal presence, Gerri, for help, and she reveals that her first priority is professional self-preservation.
You can help us, right? You can help us stop him?
But it doesn't serve my interests. How does it serve my interests?
On one level, the line clarifies that all along Gerri was trying to keep their relationship professional and mutually advantageous and to instruct Roman as much as she could in business. Yet the result is, once again, Roman has misguidedly sought solace and understanding in a mother figure who turned out to be cold, selfish, and destined to reject him. There's a saying that everything in human life is really about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. In Succession, business negotiations are described in sexual terms.
Are you guys trying to f me here?
Is she gonna f us?
I hear you bent for him, and he f***ed you.
This creates a strange effect where the trash talk ends up sounding like dirty talk, and the Roys' constant business talk means they're often describing being sexually dominated by family members.
We just walked in on mom and dad f***ing us.
While it seems that sexual abuse hasn't literally taken place in this family, emotional abuse has been the norm, and that's what all this language points to. Fundamentally, a denial of personhood, an assault on personal boundaries.
He's like a sex robot for dad to
He's like an old beaten dog.
The sexual trash talk also communicates the pure obscenity of wealth. There is something dirty about being as rich as the Roys are. There's a reason we call it being filthy rich, and the Roys' perverse, cruel, animalistic language reminds us just how distorted their moneyed world is.
She can't hack the hate. Well, she can f*** off and enjoy her lily-white chicken flesh conscience working for a f***ing phone company.
Actual sex in Succession, meanwhile, is rarely about just sex or love, but more often an instrument of power. For Logan, love is synonymous with domination.
Love, fear, whatever.
And the kids learn their father's lesson. Offering love to someone is an invitation for them to hurt you. That's why we routinely see the siblings mistrust each other's declarations of love.
I love you.
Oh, you're such a bitch.
We love you.
What is this? What's the angle?
Of the 4 siblings, Roman is the one most overtly seeking love. He cares about his parents and says so.
So, yeah, love you, Dad.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Roman's out.
But in the Roy family, wanting love equals being a masochist, inviting people to take advantage of you. Logan actually makes fun of Roman for showing love towards him.
To dissect
I
that.
love my daddy. I never figured you for a
No.
Caroline succinctly describes Logan's approach to love.
No, you could have had dogs.
No, not with your father. He never saw anything he loved that he didn't want to kick it just to see if it would still come back.
And Roman is that beaten but still loving animal. Logan literally hits him.
Don't with me! Hey!
Connor says,
You are one sick puppy.
and Gerri reinforces the image.
You little slime puppy. You're a sick animal.
But still wanting love and wanting to put love first is what gives Roman the potential to be more than just his father's miserable pet.
Guess I finally broke out of the cage. Can't keep a good dog down, right, Ken?
I'm going to grow up and become a real little boy and learn the price of an egg and do phone sex with my girlfriend like a normo.
For all the Roy's money, therapy, and rehabs, they're stuck in their family's past trauma and remain under their father's thumb. Their arrested development comes out in their childish behavior.
You, man.
Wait, stop it!
The constant sense that they're kids pretending to play important grown-ups.
Do you want to call your dad?
Do I want to call my dad?
The number of scenes that take place in childish settings, and the many references to children's books and games.
What's he doing? Is he playing with his Legos?
You're playing toy soldiers!
Fundamentally, the Roys are still trapped in childhood because they're still fighting for that scarcest of resources, their father's love.
Your friend doesn't like you, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Dad wants to fire you, woo-hoo.
Succession's plot is built around, well, succession, the question of who will fill Logan's shoes at the company. But emotionally, the show is about a different kind of inheritance, the trauma and abuse the siblings get from their parents, who probably inherited it from their own parents and which the siblings will probably hand down.
My guy says that if Dad had had therapy, I wouldn't need so much.
My guy's surprised I got through it at all.
I'm not sure you did make it through it all.
So by season 3, it becomes clear that what matters isn't who becomes CEO, but rather who can evade being the successor to the Roy's parents' pathology. In the season, Roman is for a time kind of groomed to be CEO by his dad, and we start to see how Roman could potentially gloss over his performative weirdness and be accepted as the typical asshole CEO in his father's vein. He even puts himself so deeply into the role of uncaring rich asshole boss that he supports a neo-Nazi presidential candidate.
Stop being a dirty little pixie and whispering swastikas in Dad's ear.
Then, as we saw, the lewd text meant for Gerri reignites his dad's fears that Roman is just too weird and impulsive. In the finale, Logan again seems to offer this lifeline to Roman to make himself in Logan's model.
If you need to get straightened out, get straightened out.
But a little later in the episode, a shift occurs. The siblings' strategy meeting in an empty lot during their mother's wedding turns into an emotional conversation.
Leave me here with all the feelings, thank you.
And an actual display of affection and support for each other.
Can I be with you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
When they head to confront Logan, they're a united front for once, and it's a great personal moment for Roman that he backs his siblings instead of caving to his dad, even though it ends up screwing him over in that situation.
Can you take him out, Romulus? I don't trust him.
It just might be better, if we all here.
The fact that Roman is able to stand up to his father when supported emotionally by his siblings shows that his seeking love is his strength as a person, even though it's a weakness in this world. So this is the best evidence yet that Roman could actually grow.
What have you got in your hand?
What have I got? I don't know. Love?
The great irony of many stories about the rich is that people who have everything in the world still lack something as elementary as love. It's when the Roys engage with common human experiences like sex and love and family that we see how tragic they really are.
Just want to let you know Mummy still doesn't love you. Bye, Ken, bye.
And it's through Roman, who wears his heart and his pathologies on his sleeve, that we can understand and empathize with their twistedness. Roman's relationship with Gerri is its own kind of fantasy, and while the reality slam at the end of season 3 is a reenactment of his dysfunctional mothering, it was after he asked for help and stood up to his dad.
I do think that we puke could make a pretty good team.
So if he can continue to seek out love in whatever form that takes for him, Roman just maybe still has a chance of escaping his childhood. The final season of Succession is the ultimate test for Kendall Roy. Now that his father is finally out of the picture, can he become the killer his father doubted he could be? Is the bro-y tribute band actually stone-hearted and smart enough to pull it off?
We're death wrestling with ogres.
Bah.
You're reading documents.
Much of Succession so far has been the story of Kendall repeatedly attempting to metaphorically kill his father in business, only to fail spectacularly, get pulled back into his dad's orbit, and sink back into a depressive state and his pattern of substance abuse. So after all these failures, it seemed like the initial frontrunner was pretty much out of the running to inherit the Waystar Roy Co. top job and replace Logan Roy.
It ain't gonna be me.
Yet something fundamental has changed in Kendall this season. He's no longer longer giving himself away, and when everyone expects him to blow it as usual,
Now rebranded Kendall goes woo-woo.
he's shocking them all by holding it together.
General buzzes.
What? How is it?
Really good.
So is Kendall the new king?
Long live the king!
Or when actor Jeremy Strong tells Vulture this is the closest the character has flown to the sun, does that mean a fall is still coming? Let's look at what's going on with Kendall and whether he has the most important quality it will take to win in Succession. On-screen bros are usually one-dimensional villains or laughingstocks, beloved heroes of a frat boy antics movie, or else they're proven to have hidden depth. But we never really see a bro on screen like Kendall Roy, the billionaire bro, wannabe tech bro, and striving to be woke bro.
Woke star boycott.
Who desperately wants to be more, yet remains a total bro.
I'd like my Twitter to be off the hook. This could all get super earnest, so I was thinking of hitting up some BoJack guys just to smash that shit, make my feet a little powder keg people need to check in with.
A lot of who Kendall really is comes through in his language, while he thinks of himself as this sensitive, expansive soul and peppers his discourse with a wide range of allusions.
End times.
Right.
Weimar meets Carthage meets Dante meets AI.
Right.
And antibiotic-resistant superbugs.
Most of his speech is just cheesy,
I think Volter is the shiz.
We're the shiz?
and the content is empty. The vision he outlines to his siblings in Season 3 is the ultimate jargon-filled disruptor tech nonsense, lacking all substance.
We can become omninational and reposition. Information is going to be more precious than water in the next 100. Detoxify our brand, and we can go supersonic.
Mixed with the corny tech gibberish, he talks in the profanity-ridden, dick-measuring corporate raider style that's trying to ape his dad.
So, we ready to or what?
I hear you bent for him.
While he reveals himself in this speech style, perhaps Kendall's biggest weakness comes through in how he's pathologically incapable of listening. He's obsessed with hiring the best people, but interrupts every time they say a word.
And that's just an offer on the off, Tom?
In pitch meetings or negotiations, he rushes in to get whatever he wants to say out, coming across as obnoxious or making obvious gaffes.
So?
That's okay. I don't need to hear the pitch. I've been through the deck, and I get it.
With no self-awareness of how he's being received or what other people think. It's a known fact that many powerful people in business, like Logan, tend to speak less, leave pauses before letting others know what they're thinking, and impose their authority by not revealing themselves. But it feels like Kendall is always cutting people off because he's afraid he'll lose the great point he's about to make. The first time we meet him, he's pumping himself up to play the part of the successful businessman with music. But when we cut out to watch him without hearing the music in his headphones, the effect is ridiculous.
Brownstones, water towers, trees, skyscrapers.
He's always continuing this pumping himself up act, always feeling on the verge of some great move that he won't quite pull off when the moment comes. Relentlessly positive sounding, even when obvious downs need to be acknowledged.
It's not a big deal. It's an opportunity. We just, flip a big name, boom, it's all good.
Totally.
It's all
Right.
good.
So his upbeat energy is tense, hollow, and reveals a fundamental lack of faith in himself. And because he's so fixated on the Kendall performance, he loses the opportunities to focus on what others want. Like when he could have gotten his siblings to follow him in Season 3 by playing to their motives. After all this being so well established about Kendall, what's striking in Season 4 is that we're finally starting to see him do what seemed impossible for him. Keep things to himself, have secrets, not show his hand, and successfully play others. In Season 4, Episode 4, we see this new era of Kendall begin when he blackmails Hugo to go behind his siblings' back and spread dirt on their dad. Then in Episode 5, Kendall lets Roman lose it with Lucas Madsen and potentially make himself vulnerable.
We're not selling to you, okay? We're not doing that.
You just f***ed yourself.
Whereas the old Kendall wouldn't have been able to hold himself back from swooping in there. In Episode 6, as the Roys gear up for a new product launch and the Roy brothers try to tank the Madsen deal, people are viewing both brothers as out of their depth, weak, and not worthy of the respect given their father.
You are a weak monarch in a dangerous interregnum.
You don't treat me with sufficient respect.
And if you f up his deal, or you try to stand up numbers that I am not comfortable with, I swear to God. Hey, easy.
And Rome does regress and self-destruct under the pressure, firing not one but two incredibly senior and competent women in an impulsive display of extreme pettiness, then choking before the presentation and letting Kendall get all the kudos when it actually goes well. Meanwhile, everyone is looking at Kendall to likewise repeat his usual pattern of extreme grandiosity followed by a crash.
You think it's nuts?
No, I mean,
No?
pitching playhouses and living forever and then doubling up the
It's time.
numbers.
He's characteristically spouting all the bro-y jargon nonsense,
Just break the logjam. Get the franchise pumping.
Pumping
yeah?
it.
Pump
yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
getting carried away with extravagant dramatic gestures,
Could we build me a living plus house? Maybe clouds appear above the house?
and pushing the business projection numbers to an ethically treacherous place.
Numbers get crazy good.
Yeah. Okay.
But while Roman snaps and responds to his authority being challenged by becoming the petulant boy man, Kendall surprisingly holds himself together. When Carl tries to put Kendall in his place, Kendall just smiles, sticks to his plan, and controls the situation to suit himself.
Detailed financials I will leave to Carl Mueller, a legendary CFO. There he is. Round of applause.
What happens next is very illuminating and reveals some key things about what it actually takes to succeed in this kind of position. It's not actually about whether the numbers are true,
Huh?
I think we can make
Duke's
the
up?
argument. We can
Yeah?
make the argument.
Yeah.
or about whether the leader is being smart and certainly not sensible. Instead, in this moment, it's about going big, because only a huge play could stop the Gojo deal from going through, as Kendall tells Roman.
It's
Numbers.
time. It's time. It's big swing time.
A key thing that characters like Lucas Madsen also demonstrate to us is that this elite stratosphere of success isn't primarily about any kind of business genius. It's much more about cold-blooded ruthlessness, a certain instinct for battle, and a flair for drama.
He's a genius. Nobody minds a genius acting weird.
Honestly, it probably kind of adds to the mystique.
His reputation is priced in.
Shiv pointed out the same thing about Logan. It wasn't that he was actually always right about business, but he made everyone believe in his legend. So Kendall's problem all along hasn't necessarily been his grandiosity dreaming too big, but that until now he's failed to convince people, in large part because he didn't believe his own act himself. Actor Jeremy Strong told GQ that creator Jesse Armstrong told him to think of Shakespeare's Richard III. And we're already seeing Kendall channel that play's two-faced protagonist who plots his way to the crown by betraying and exploiting everyone in his way.
Plots have I laid. Inductions dangerous.
Season 4 Kendall is screwing over anyone he needs to, and crucially appearing however he has to in order to manipulate and coerce others to obey his will. A huge step for this person who in the past was incapable of hiding anything. And in episode 6, while Kendall clearly is hurt when his brother abandons him, on some level during this period he could be intentionally giving Roman the space to self-destruct. After all, at the end, Kendall sends Roman this text confirming his brother's worst fears about himself. The Shakespearean vibes are especially strong in this season. Season 4, episode 5 is made to feel like a modern update to a battle out of one of the history plays. And if this is truly Kendall's story, the most important Shakespeare comparison might be Henry IV Part 1 and 2, which follow a prince named Hal who gets scolded by his dad, Henry IV, for his princely privilege and for being a shadow of succession. This is exactly how Logan and everyone sees Kendall.
You're a tribute band.
But Prince Hal actually does mature into a successful and powerful king, Henry V, by becoming cold inside. Something has changed in Kendall that's suddenly giving him the self-assurance not to constantly give himself away. So what's caused this difference? Of course, the main thing that's changed is his father's absence. Let's look more closely at how that's changing everything about how Kendall is. Throughout the series, there have been two Kendalls vying to dominate. One is the dynamic, cool, woke visionary Kendall wants to be, the one who disrupts the status quo, keeps trying to kill his dad, and insists he's a good person. But after the season 2 finale gave Kendall his amazing hero moment, season 3 was careful in the aftermath not to let Kendall actually be the hero that he thinks he is for taking down his dad. Instead, it situates his business plays in childish settings like his daughter's bedroom and his birthday party recreation of his childhood treehouse to underline that even when he gets the chance to shine and do something great, the image of Kendall that's always coming through is still that of that little kid dressing up, trying to prove he can wear daddy's shoes. More importantly, that's how he feels to himself, and because of that, Kendall can't ever really convince anyone else that he's more than just a broy rich kid playing pretend.
The Canadians, there seem to be a little static on some details.
Like what?
Like US CEO.
Whenever he rebels, the cool people who hate his father that he tries to win over detest him too.
And a pussy has ghosted my ass. Benedict had Arnold. Paranoid Kendrick.
in part because he hasn't earned any of his success, so he's operating on a level that's disproportionate to his actual skills, and in part because they intuit Kendall's rebellion against his father is fragile.
I'm not a Roy. Okay? Not really.
Consensus says you're a coked up prick who can't shit straight.
Something they're proven right about repeatedly.
You have 15 minutes to gather your belongings and exit the building.
Why?
Because my dad told me to.
Because your dad told you to?
So if the first Kendall is the pretend hero, the second Kendall in the series is the wounded and broken child who just wants his daddy's love and feels like a nothing. This is the one who becomes his dad's hollow soldier, whom Logan is able to manipulate by making him feel weak. He's encapsulated by the recurring image we see of Kendall, a boy underwater. In every season premiere image of Kendall, he's submerged. In the penultimate episode of season 3, he slips under and almost dies. And of course, the crisis of his character in season 1 is when he accidentally drowns a caterer boy at Shiv's wedding after driving high. This symbolism of a boy who can't lift himself above water represents Kendall's problems with substance abuse, which is one of the most true-to-life risk factors for kids who grow up affluent. And in Kendall's case, there's a clear link between using and the inability to deal with all the pain that his father causes him. All the times we see him really going on benders connect to some way that his dad callously hurt him or forced him to do something really awful, like after his father makes him shutter Volter, his pet project. Kendall summons his inner dead-eyed soldier-like resolve to get it done, and then gets high out of his mind that night to not feel it. Or look at how Kendall pretends not to care when, at their fake therapy retreat, his dad says,
You are a f***ing nobody.
He's smiling, but very soon after, you can see how the comment hurt him, and again, he takes a drink. After Logan manages to leverage Kendall's guilt about the caterer boy to crush the rebellion of season 1, season 2's Kendall the robot is a direct result of Kendall shutting off from his emotions because processing what he feels about the boy's death is too challenging. The broken robot version of Kendall is always about to crumble and utterly dependent on his dad.
If Dad didn't need me right now, I don't exactly know what I would be for.
To the point that when Kendall becomes obsessed with a new fling, a mere facial expression from Logan is enough to instantly kill that attraction.
She's in theater.
Oh. Anyways, this is so awesome.
Yes, it is.
Logan likes Kendall weak so he can control him, though at the same time he doesn't respect this Kendall who's his pawn, and we can see clearly how this Kendall results from his dad's abuse. In the penultimate episode of season 3, Logan has his own grandchild sample his food just to underline how willing he is to let Kendall and Kendall's children die for him. When Kendall tries to assert,
I'm better than you,
Logan again brings up the boy and successfully makes Kendall feel that he's a nothing. So we see how Logan has been truly killing his son. Now that Logan's gone, that Kendall who couldn't rise above water might finally be too. At the end of season 4, episode 6, Kendall is at last floating in the water, at peace. It's partially the success of the launch, and it's also that whether it's fiction or not, post his father's death, he's achieved his father's approval, at least within his own mind. The belief that his father wrote his name on that piece of paper and did want it to be Kendall has reactivated that drive in him.
My dad wanted me to take over.
After all, we see Kendall looking at that paper right before his scene with Hugo. Just before he gets into the ocean at the end of episode 6, he writes a number 1 in the sand, seemingly a reference to being told he's his father's number 1 boy. So Kendall does seem to have finally convinced himself that his father loved and believed in him, even if it could be a deliberate act of self-delusion. In episode 6, at the start, we see Kendall watching footage of Logan criticizing his children.
You're as bad as my f***ing idiot kids.
But by the end of the episode, Kendall has resurrected his father and even edited his father's words to create the Logan who showers benevolent love on his son.
Thank you, Dad.
With all this play acting of his dad's fake ghost, Kendall has been weirdly freed from his actual dad's toxicity, and more than trying to please that person, Kendall is trying to become like his father.
It's what he would do. He'd want this for the firm.
We still see his siblings wondering what his father would want, whereas Kendall is paradoxically not worrying about what his dad would think.
What do I think he would do?
Yeah.
Exactly whatever the he wanted.
He's consciously trying to morph into the cold king by doing whatever he wants. That's not to say his elated floating amidst the waves moment signals he's free from danger. Strong told Vulture that even in the aftermath of his dad's death, Kendall is still wrestling with these two identities of his super being and his wraith. The super being is what we see coming to the forefront here, but the wraith is waiting in the wings, hiding in plain sight at all times to pull him down. But while that grandiose super being is still strong in him, importantly, he's given up the hero Kendall delusions about trying to do good in the world. He hasn't the slightest moral objection to making up numbers that everyone else is pretty scared by, and manipulates video of his father to lie to shareholders.
Hey, dude, it's enough to make you lose your faith in capitalism. Like,
right.
You could say anything.
Strong and Vulture's Matt Zoller Seats also discussed how Kendall emerging from the water after the caterer's death in Season 1 could be his satanic rebirth. And ever since that moment, as Kendall has gradually accepted the boy's death, he's experienced a moral attrition. It's a process that Strong and the team have likened to Michael Corleone's spiritual corruption in The Godfather. So, from all this, we can infer there's a chance that Kendall's wraith will return, and he'll come crashing down from his close to the sun moment. And there still remains the pesky question of whether Kendall is truly smart enough to pull all this off in a sustained way.
The movie. And what about these f***ing press stories? Are you Scooby-Dooing me here?
Even though Kendall has risen to the occasion so far, it's still early days.
Well, Ken and I have been doing a pretty good job.
In the last 24 hours.
And if he is Richard III, in that play, the slimy hero doesn't last all that long as a king. Yet more central than this question of whether he'll keep the crown is the tragedy we're witnessing of what's happening to him inside this show that's, Strong says, ultimately about family trauma and a satire of late-stage capitalism. As both of the false Kendalls, the pretend hero and the broken robot, finally fade away, we're seeing him at last integrate his selves into a new Kendall that was always waiting in the wings. The bro-y Logan Roy tribute band, who's at last getting his shot to rule the kingdom, channeling that Viking spirit to become a fierce Logan 2.0 and play some killer originals as well.
At its core, Succession is really about bad parenting. As the Roy siblings attempt to grab at their deceased father's crown, they can't help reverting to their childhood selves, and they become victims of their own arrested development and undying family conflicts. The show's genius is in how it links the family tragedy to a societal one. The Roys are the kings of our modern era, responsible for many of the ills impacting our culture, and they're decidedly not us. Yet they're brought down by the same petty BS that plagues so many of the unhappiest families we all know well. As Succession reached its conclusion, the show completed so many arcs that it set up at the very beginning, and sent some powerful messages. So where did Succession leave us, and what did it all mean? It's fitting that, after all the women of Succession have been through, it's Shiv who gets to make the final decision, even if it's between what are for her two pretty bad choices. Succession has leaned a lot into illuminating just how much this top corporate world screws over its women. From long-serving superstar Gerri getting fired by petty, petulant Roman.
Maybe I'm firing you for a list of failures I choose not to outline right now.
I am good at my job.
Shall we get started on the paperwork? You want to do it yourself, or do you want me to get somebody a bit sharper?
To extremely competent Carolina having to put up with Hugo, to all that Logan's wives and girlfriends have suffered. Shiv voiced at the funeral that the culture that stemmed from Logan didn't have enough room for fully formed women.
He was hard on women. You know, he couldn't fit a whole woman in his head.
Billionaire Lucas Matson is just as wildly sexist. To be fair, he was kind of upfront about this during their heart-to-heart about how he was harassing his former flame Eva.
I sent her some of my blood.
Okay.
And he's openly awful to Eva in a professional context.
Guys, gather around. This guy is about to fire my senior comms. No hard
The
feelings.
jokes are funny.
But the tiny yet infinitely consequential thing that's the nail in Shiv's coffin is the cartoon of Shiv towering over a much smaller Lucas and playing him like a puppet. As much as he denies it, the image obviously gets under his skin.
The cartoon?
Wow.
I think it's funny.
The cartoon?
No, that was funny. I enjoyed that. No.
And then he openly admits to Tom that he doesn't want to install Shiv because he's sexually attracted to her.
I want to her.
He then says that he's choosing Tom because he's the person who impregnated her.
Well, if I can have anyone in the world, Why don't I get the guy who put the baby inside her instead of the baby lady?
As if weirdly this somehow enables Lucas to dominate Shiv, put her back in her place, and disprove that image where the baby lady was somehow bigger and on top of the small man. In the end, Lucas opts for a room full of guys hailing him as Jesus.
Jesus and his disciples.
Shiv did do her usual thing in this episode of getting ahead of herself and gloating too much.
I played it better, so why don't you take it like a man and just eat it?
But she's right. She did play it better than the others. As usual, she was smarter than her brothers. She explicitly lost here purely because Lucas didn't like that she was a woman, just like she was cut out earlier in the season for the same reason. While her brothers get mad at her for playing them, they were the ones who betrayed her and expected her to just fall in line while offering her nothing. So while she did make a mistake in trusting Lucas, she was again choosing between an array of men who were all just going to screw her in the end for being a woman. The crucial line that Shiv utters when she makes her decision is,
I love you, but I can't f***ing stomach you.
her words, I can't stomach you, are about their sibling dynamics, but also a repudiation of how her brother promises to continue on Logan's way. It's a way that sidelined her and messed her up.
It was hard to be his daughter.
And maybe Shiv not crowning Kendall does ensure at least a slight improvement to the culture. Gerri's back in, Carolina will get her wish of canning Kendall's dog, Hugo. The old guard, Carl and Frank, are finally out, and they're the two who probably know the most of Logan's dirty secrets.
How bad was Dad?
He was a salty dog, but he was a good egg.
What you saw was what you got.
There's the question, though, of whether the fox they just let into their chicken coop could bring all sorts of new, unanticipated darkness. After all, this hostile outsider beat all of them, and whether they thought they were aligning with, using, or outsmarting him, he came out on top. Instead of Shiv, the powerful woman, Lucas went for Tom, the pain sponge.
It's gonna get nasty, so I need a pain sponge.
I have a very high tolerance for pain and physical discomfort.
Who's also described 2 times in crucial moments as a suit.
You went for an empty fucking suit?
By the dry cleaner.
Even his wife describes him in the same episode as,
He is very plausible corporate matter, but he's also just a highly interchangeable modular part.
Yet, what does it mean to be a suit in this context, in this day and age, and at such a high level? In some ways, as much as the born Roys strive to be Logan, Tom has the most of Logan's ruthless drive. Tom is the outsider coming from relatively humble origins. His demeanor and refined act couldn't be more different. And Tom's habit of rambling when Logan makes him nervous is a great source of comedy. Yet when Tom's rarely showing his real thoughts and self, usually when he's talking to Greg and going full bully mode, he's as blunt, cruel, and harsh as Logan could ever be.
We're good! Because it doesn't feel good, Greg! Can we...
Tom pitches himself as the humble, loyal servant.
Tiptoe, Tommy.
Here to serve. Here to serve.
And his whole persona at first is the nice Midwestern guy.
This corn-fed basic from Hockey Town.
Yeah, Tom, he's a great guy.
Sure, you should be with an exciting bastard like me.
But he's perhaps the character in the inner circle who's best at hiding that true self, and so it can be jarring how not nice Tom is on the inside. He's the classic suit in this sense, defined by a pristine, faceless outer shell that hides an ugliness inside. Like a yuppie Patrick Bateman-esque suit, he's so in love with having money and the nice things that money can buy that he identifies with his nice things.
The suits and my watches and... Yeah, sure, I know. I like nice things, I do.
He feels defined by them, and he doesn't really know who he'd be without them. This is something about him that's unlike power-hungry Logan. Tom is much more driven by money, as he talks about to Greg early on.
Look, here's the thing about being rich, okay? It's great. Okay, it's like being a superhero, only better.
And as he finally admits to Shiv in season 4.
And if you think that's shallow, why don't you throw out all your stuff for love? throw out your necklaces and your jewels for a date at a 3-star Italian.
But the other meaning of suit that emerges in Tom's and Lucas's conversation is a pain sponge, almost a fall guy of sorts, who can absorb pain and the nasty things Lucas is apparently planning to do.
I'm not looking for a partner. You know, I'm looking for a front man when I'm under the hood doing what I love, you know?
As the head of the Fox News-esque ATN, which is highly reviled in most of the elite circles Tom frequents, Tom's already used to taking a lot of shit.
Your phone, it's red hot, Tom. A lot of very important people want to scream at you.
So while Tom has taken the prize the Roys have all been striving for, the actual job looks to be a lot more unpleasant, with a lot less real power than they envisioned. Season 4 saw Shiv and Tom getting real about what actually tied them together.
When I met you, all my life, I've been thinking a little bit about money. And how to get money and how to keep money.
And these truth bombs were ugly.
You're f***ing me for my DNA. You were f***ing me for a ladder because your whole family is striving and parochial.
I think you are incapable of love. And I think you are maybe not a good person to have children.
Then, after all that was said, in the finale, Shiv finally confesses to Tom that she was driven by fear of the underneaths.
I think I've always just been scared in relationships of the underneaths. You know, what's the worst thing a person thinks?
But when all's said and done, maybe she still wants a real relationship. Tom, though, turns her down.
Are you interested in a real relationship?
Honest to God, I don't know.
There was an important shift that happened in the relationship in these later episodes. Previously, it always seemed that Shiv had the upper hand in their dynamic, and that Tom was not only her servant, but also genuinely more in love.
That's why
maybe
you love me.
You.
Even though I don't love you.
But after Tom betrayed Shiv to help Logan at the end of season 3, it was kind of an admission that his true first allegiance was to her father, and the money and power of it all. Looking back, it was always clear that Tom liked this whole lifestyle, and wasn't just with Shiv for the romance.
You've played your hand well, and you're sitting at the top table. Wow, shucks. Thank you. I fell in love with your sister, that's what happened. Sure. Oh yeah, right.
But in season 4, Tom is honest about just how much that was a driver for him.
And I really love my career and my money.
And a new reality comes into focus. It's Shiv who wants and needs Tom more, however toxic the relationship actually is for her. So it's striking that, after Shiv gives Tom the chance to come back to her out of real love, he refuses, and then betrays her by taking her CEO job. In the end, Shiv finds a way to get Tom back and bind him to her forever. The final shot we see of Shiv and Tom driving away is a Graduate-esque ending. That 1967 film famously ends with a shot of the couple who just run away from their families to be together, in what should be a happily ever after. But the camera lingers a little too long on the pair, so we see their uncertainty grow as a little doubt enters about what they just did. Similarly, the camera stays with Shiv and Tom as it settles in that they're now permanently bound together again. Leading up to this moment, it felt like a win for both of them. Obviously for Tom getting the top job, and for Shiv to at least get to screw over Kendall. And it's not the worst outcome for her to be the boss's wife and secure her future child's succession. In the reality of embarking on this future, though, they look kind of miserable. Shiv took her opportunity to chain Tom to her, but now they know all the underneaths. What's interesting is that this is exactly their original plan. In the early seasons, Shiv and Tom are a Macbeth-like couple plotting for him to be CEO, because at that point she clearly doesn't think it's possible that she'll get a shot. And in the end, it turns out she was right, that the people of this world weren't going to let a female be on top. But she does play her original Lady Macbeth role, and get glory through her husband. In their phone conversation, Tom voices that Shiv might be wanting to save their marriage not due to pure love, but out of not wanting to fail.
You don't like to fail a test, do you, Siobhan?
And it's similar to what drives her brothers, this need to win and succeed at all costs, even if the prize isn't really what you want.
He doesn't want it, but he can't say it.
Likewise, it turns out that Shiv's initial goal of making Tom CEO is fairly empty and unsatisfying to her. In The Graduate, the subtext of the ending is that this couple who've tried so hard to escape their parents are now gradually going to become them. And that's also what's hinted at here in the final shot of Tom and Shiv. Tom takes the place of Logan, the outsider who rises from humble origins to take on the CEO role, in a marriage with a woman he doesn't love, thinking already into the distance of the succession for his future child. Shiv, a woman with more smarts and potential, is sidelined out of any formal business role and most likely headed for a future where she feels increasingly sour about that. Incidentally, Shiv saying the worst underneaths because she fears that's what others are thinking is something she's inherited from her mother. In the finale, Caroline says,
It's nice to see you've got something to agree about, besides what a terrible mother I am.
Oh, well, we'll never disagree on that, Mom.
Yeah, sure.
and it's the same defense mechanism because, despite the jokey tone I'll take, Caroline knows she is a terrible mother, and the kids genuinely think that. In the final season, Kendall finally succeeded at the thing he's been trying to do all along, becoming his dad. Kendall is on top of the world because after so much struggle, he's cracked it. He's gone full Logan. He's dominating others, blackmailing, playing dirty, riling up crowds. In the finale, he reveals that this has basically been his goal since the age of 7.
When I was 7, he sat me down at the Candy Kitchen in Bridgehampton, and he promised it to me.
But what pulls the rug out from under Kendall in the end is that just copying his father's game isn't enough. While the kids think they're starring in this Shakespearean succession drama about inheriting a kingdom, it turns out they're actually in the midst of a giant corporate power grab where the family isn't entitled to anything. Kendall has almost played this whole thing perfectly, and once again he goes into a board vote, arriving on time this time, believing he has the votes. But at the last second, when Shiv challenges him, his games break down. He quickly loses his composure, reverting to that little boy who's just trying to play daddy, and thinks he's owed this.
I am like a cog built to fit only one machine. It's the one thing I know how to do.
Well, it's not all about you.
Yet, as Kendall tries to prove some level of entitlement to the throne, his siblings quickly point out the flimsiness of all these claims.
I'm simply saying he said a lot of things, and he said them to me first.
Yeah, and he said it to me last.
Even by the most traditional, outdated measures, he's clutching at straws. He's not even truly the eldest boy, though he thinks of himself that way.
I'm the eldest boy! I am the eldest boy!
You're not.
And you know...
And he can't claim the continuation of the bloodline because Shiv is carrying Logan's first biological grandchild.
It mattered to him. He wanted this to go on.
Well, I mean, she's the bloodline, though.
She also voices honestly in this moment that she doesn't actually believe in Kendall's skills as a manager.
I can do this.
I don't think you'd be good at it.
And when Kendall emotionally completes his transformation into Logan by denying that he killed the caterer kid.
What, like you killed so many people, you forgot which one?
That's not an issue. That didn't happen.
Wait, it didn't, as in what?
It's just a thing I said. It's a thing I said. I made it up.
And seemingly believing himself, it's like in that moment, Shiv sees that Kendall has fully lost whatever soul he still had that was preventing him from being as ruthless as his dad, and adopting Logan's whole NRPI philosophy.
NRPI. Don't beat yourself up. No real person involved. You know, it's nothing.
Once again, this episode links Kendall to the water. The first time we see him with water is the sequence when he's being pre-anointed by his siblings. He's swimming easily, at one with the ocean, relaxed, the heir apparent, as his siblings joke about murdering him but ultimately promise him the crown. Kendall reached his peak point earlier this season after his product launch performance, which actor Jeremy Strong compared to Kendall's flying too close to the sun moment. There, he's in a form of ecstasy, merging with the waves, floating above the surface. Whereas in so many of Kendall's worst moments, he's submerged, unable to get out from under the weight of his pain. But at the end, after he's lost, he's barred from the water, trapped as the fence separates him from the water and the Statue of Liberty. A symbol of both freedom and the immigrant dream that's present in both Logan and The Godfather. The only person with Kendall is Cullen, the security guard who was always at Logan's side, and arguably the closest person to Logan in the end. Colin's scene recalls Logan's walk with Colin through Central Park, but to Kendall, Colin is a human reminder of what he did to the caterer, because Colin oversaw the cover-up of Kendall's hit and run that killed the boy. Director Mark Mylod even calls Colin Banquo's ghost, referring to how Macbeth is haunted by the ghost of the friend he killed. So even though Kendall fought so hard to deny that reality and be totally unmoved by any guilt, shame, or pain, the last shot shows us he can never escape what he's done. The finale is called With Open Eyes, and it contains a line with Succession's matriarch saying she doesn't like human eyes.
Like human eyes we all have.
I don't like to think of all these blobs of jelly rolling around in your heads.
Like the other season finale titles, the name comes from John Barrowman's Dream Song 29, about someone named Henry who has a crime so heavy sitting on his heart that, if he had 100 years, he could not make good. The poem goes, ghastly, with open eyes, he attends, blind. Here too, Kendall is attempting to be blind to those truths in the way his father conditioned him, yet he ultimately can't erase the truth, for others or for himself.
You can't be CEO. You can't, because you killed someone.
Kendall tells Shiv explicitly that he'll be suicidal if he doesn't win.
If I don't get to do this, I feel like that's it. Like I might die.
Which comes off as a play to use their pity in his favor, but is also true. And Colin is seemingly there to make sure Kendall doesn't hurt himself. Kendall's being kept away from the water so that he can't sink. A completion of how he's attempted to detach from himself ever since he was responsible for the boy's death. This episode can't help but recall the first season's board vote, which also goes very badly for Kendall, and that time it's Roman who blows it. So that's clearly in Shiv's and Kendall's minds as the two vie to secure Roman's vote in their showdown. Both understand how Roman has a tendency to weaken in the moment, and that's exactly what we see when Kendall has to fend off Roman's potential rebellion or copping out at the last minute. When this happens, Kendall pulls Roman into a violent bear hug that pulls out his stitches. It's likely an allusion to Logan having been abusive with the kids. There are a couple of moments of Logan physically hurting his family, and the reaction from everyone present is a strangely stiff performance that apparently seeks to reassure everyone that Logan hasn't ever been physically abusive. Or not really. Yet it's a little more fuzzy exactly to what extent Logan may have physically hurt his kids, in addition to emotionally destroying him. When Kendall subjugates Roman with the stitches, he's saying, "I'm your daddy now," and it works.
Roman?
Nope.
That's fucking right.
The masochist in Roman kind of wants, as director Mike Mylod said, for Kendall to relieve him of any responsibility to try to be CEO. But Roman knows how to find Kendall's vulnerable spots emotionally, later hitting Kendall's weak point.
Dad's view was yours weren't real. They are a pair of randos. One is a buy-in, the other is half Rava, half some filing cabinet guy.
To spur Kendall to even more extreme violence. There are two key scenes with the three central siblings in the finale. One in their mom's kitchen as they goof off while pretending to anoint Kendall as the new king, and one in the boardroom as Shiv changes her mind and a brawl breaks out as Kendall attempts to force her in line. The scenes are linked in key ways. The kids making a gross smoothie for Kendall to drink, and Shiv saying she can't stomach Kendall, Roman licking his mother's husband's cheese, and later getting at Kendall about his kids not being his biological offspring. Whether they're at their mom's or in the boardroom, it's the same constant contest, playing out their childhood squabbles and traumas and inability to let the other win. Throughout the show, the siblings come together in key moments, and if only they could unite, keep up healthy communication, and share power, it would help all of them, professionally and personally. But they just can't do it, because the second it looks like any of them is going to win the crown, they revert to kids who insist that the other can't have the shiny toy, even if destroying their siblings means they lose out too. It's important that, amidst all the carnage, all the characters in this episode are thinking about the bloodline. Because as Shiv gets ready to bring a new Roy into the world, fathered by the CEO of Waystar Roy Co., it's clear that so much of this toxic drama will repeat. Meanwhile, the finale sees Greg playing both sides. Greg, throughout the show, has had an aspect of embodying the banality of evil. He seems to be not that bad, or just neutral, yet he's always there helping carry out the dirtiest work. And in the last episode, Greg makes his big play to become part of the Quad. In a way, it shows how far Greg has come toward being a big player. He's live translating Matsson at the bar, going out on a limb to betray his closest ally and seize his moment.
And could I quad it up, like full quad?
Take your shot, buddy. Just take your shot. Come on.
Okay. Buckle up.
This is probably Greg trying to escape his dynamic with Tom, where he always has to be the punching bag, the support, the unfailingly loyal servant. A role that Tom just calls Greg, or as a verb, Gregging.
I want you Gregging for me! You're busted back down to Greg tonight!
No!
Yeah!
And it's interesting that, while Tom can't forgive Shiv or still summon any love for her after all they've done to hurt each other, he quickly forgives Greg and still does clearly love Greg more than anyone else. In fact, it's his dream because after this betrayal, Greg is now, always and forever, his object to own and mistreat however he so desires. He makes that point by putting one of the stickers from the process to claim Logan's possessions onto Greg's forehead. Greg's then called out by Lucas as the Judas, to Tom's Pontius Pilate, and it's clear that Greg's back to square one. He'll get to remain a top insider in this world and reap all its rewards, but he'll never escape being the Greg.
I can take a lot in terms of psychological pain, so...
When Kendall is in denial of his loss, the nihilist Roman tells him,
It's bits of glue and broken shows, phony news. Come on, we are bullshit. It's all nothing.
all along we've gotten hints of the unsoundness of the business.
There's a huge debt problem.
What do you... No.
Yes,
No, there's not.
$3 billion. DOJ is going to likely hit us with an historic fine. Gojo's market cap has overtaken ours.
Yet as people vie for the control of it, this recedes into the background like it doesn't matter. And maybe it doesn't. Lucas Matsson's Gojo is also apparently bullshit, given his fake India numbers. Just the new bullshit. But Roman is also right that this is all sort of nothing. The siblings are fighting over a crown that means everything to them because they've been raised to fight over this birthright. But none of them really stands for anything more than wanting to win. So whether or not they win doesn't really matter to anyone else or make any difference to the world. Ironically, Logan maybe didn't even care that much which or whether his kids took the crown in the end, since he didn't really believe in anyone besides himself.
Who do you think Dad actually wanted to give it to?
I don't think Dad gave a fuck about anything more than putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to give it to any of us.
Succession was the best TV show in a long time, surpassing the rest both in gravity and in levity.
So yeah, that's how I'm trying to sue Greenpeace.
And it was ultimately about how difficult it is for adults to escape deeply ingrained childhood dynamics, even if, maybe especially if, they're in high-powered, successful environments. Getting ahead in the world often demands of us to be our most immature, combative, unevolved, childish selves. But while the kids view themselves as in this great Shakespearean Succession drama, no one really cares what they do. And instead of chasing these phantoms, they could have just taken all that money, left this misery behind, and sought a fresh slate. That's the take. Click here to watch the video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.